Very good evening to you and welcome to the second collection of the Christmas Poppets artwork by Marina Fedotova. Fantastic collection. We've got some gorgeous bundles and we'll be speaking to Barbara. And I will just want to give everybody the heads up. The mini stamp set is now only available in the complete collection, which is no bad thing because it is even bigger savings. But I've got the fabulous Barbara Gray with me here to explain it all to us. Good evening, Barbara.
Good evening, Feefo. How are you?
I'm very well. Have you got a portrait in the attic? Because you're like Dorian Gray. You look younger every time I see you, darling.
Oh, you're so good to me.
You look
it's the
fantastic.
makeup.
You look fantastic. Talk to me about these exquisite drawings because they're so mature, but there's a lovely naivety and an innocence to them. They're fantastic, Barbara.
They are, they're beautiful. Well, I do know Linda Williams, she put me onto this a few years ago. Pergamano actually licensed Marina Fedotova's artwork. And so we fell in love with it. And because we own Pergamano, we went in search of Marina and we licensed these illustrations. And there's more in the pipeline. But they're just so exquisite and so naive and beautiful. And these 6 Christmas images, they just stole our hearts. We just fell in love with them. And so it's been a massive project because it's the first Pergamano. These are the first stamps we've ever licensed from an external artist. It's the first set of Pergamano stamps that we've created. So it was a mountain to climb, but I'm so proud of Clarity team. They've just pulled it off. It's just fantastic.
Now, I know you were speaking earlier, but a lot of people might have missed the earlier show. But there's a deliberate reason why you've included them under the Pergamano umbrella, isn't there, Barbara?
Well, I think, first of all, if I may show you my artwork, for traditional parchers, you see, let me just show you this card. Can you see that clearly?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so this is stamped on parchment, and then what I did was I introduced one of Josie Davidson's fantastic grids. This is the Charles grid. So I created beautiful parchment art using the stamps. So this is where Claritystamp and Pergamano where they meet, because we looked at the artwork and we said, you know, this is so delicate that it's impossible to make groovy plates out. You have to know your limits. And the artwork is so super fine. We tried it on groovy and it just didn't work. So we said, you know, it would be much more beautiful stamped. And traditional parchers, they've always used black line art for images like this. And I spoke to Linda and I said, what about a stamp? And she said, that would be amazing. And so that's how we've ended up with stamps for Pergamano.
And they are indeed amazing. When you look at that fine line drawing of each and every one of these exquisite images, there is a fabulous innocence about them, a real enchanting beauty. They capture your imagination. They draw you in like a story, don't they, Barbara?
They do, and the thing about them also is, in the larger bundle, unfortunately, the little stamps, they've sold out on their own now. But when you take these images and you reduce them to sort of gift tag size, they're just gorgeous. But let me show you, for example, this piece of artwork, which is not... I've included all 6 of the little images on one card, and what really excites me as a stamper is that I can make something so vintage looking from the same images as I can make something so traditionally parchment. You know, that's unusual. And when you look at the artwork, Fiona, that you've got in front of you, you'll see that you can go from really bright and beautiful, innocent and almost childlike, and then you can go to this amazing mixed media, vintage, grungy, arty look. You know, that kind of line art does not come along very often. And so when we saw Marina's work, we grabbed it with both hands.
So we can use this with our mixed media, with our heat and embossing and hot wax.
Yeah, and there's stamp board on the counter as well, which is brilliant for mixed media art. It's so beautiful for stamping on, but you can use it with your gel press. Just exciting, you know. And the price is amazing on that stamp board.
There's the stamp board you just referred to there, Barbara. So we get 60 pieces there. And what I love is you've given us all 3 different sizes for each of those fantastic shapes. Why are they so good to stamp on, Barbara?
The surface is super smooth, and so what you'll find is that you can take your large stamp off the edge. You can punch it. You can use it with paint. You can watercolor. You can put paste through it. The triangle, if you invert it, makes amazing bunting. You know, because you can punch it and attach it. It's just beautiful. You wait. Black. One thing I must say, black archive or archival ink, but black archival is what one uses on parchment, and it's what works really beautifully on the stamp board, Fiona.
Fantastic. So very briefly, we do have them on the separate bundles. So these fantastic collection of the Marina 6 stamps there are one bundle. We do have the smaller stamps, but they're only available in the complete collection. But also in the complete collection, we do get these lovely sentiments. Now, am I right in thinking this is your very own handwriting, Barbara? Because you have lovely handwriting, I've got to say.
Well, you know, a few months ago, we had I wrote a set of stamps to go with the entwined frames, which were also on the counter, but there were no Christmas sentiments in that set. So I thought, oh, that really would work well with these little Fedotova images. And so I quickly wrote out a set of stamps for the Christmas sentiments. And so they're in the bigger bundle. I think they're still available individually.
Yeah.
They're available in the bigger bundle with the little poppets as well.
Fantastic.
And I was talking to one of my friends, Debbie Berry, in Texas, in between shows, and she said, "What is a poppet?" And I said, "Well, a poppet is a little child. It's a term of endearment in England for a little child." And I said, "When you lived here, Debbie, I'm sure people used to call you Pet, didn't they? Hello, Pet. All right, Pet." And I said, "And that is an abbreviation of poppet." And so, yeah, it's not to do with your animals, it's to do with poppets.
Oh, fantastic. Lovely, fantastic. Yeah, you forget about these little colloquialisms that we take for granted, and people are like, I don't understand what you mean by that. But yeah, these are brilliant, Barbara. I'll be showing a lot of the actual fantastic designs that the team have done, and obviously we've got the videos with Paul for this evening's show, and yourself, of course. With 2/3 of the stock has gone of the complete collection, just to flag that up. And you're absolutely right. You can get these sentiments on their own. The little mini poppets now, they are only available in the complete collection. But let's look at that big saving. £59.98. Collectively on them individually, it's a 25, well, altogether, it's a £25 saving, but it's even more if you're a Freedom Club member. I think it amounts down to £31 actual savings. So, and yes, also you will get a £5 credit to spend tomorrow on anything if you spend over £30 tomorrow with our Christmas event as well. So yeah, fantastic savings. Barbara, unless there's anything else you need to add, I want to say a massive thank you this evening, because we'll take everybody through everything and show all those brilliant videos that yourself and Paul have put together for us.
Thank you. And I did just want to say a really big thank you to the Clarity team, because this has been a mountain. And I wanted to thank Jason, our stamp maker, and Jilly and Leanne and Paul and all the design team. It's been an incredible pulling together, you know, and during this whole phase now, this lockdown, this has been a really important, and Jim, you know, just for all of us to get together and just bond again and put together a really fantastic launch like this. It's been exciting, Fiona.
Fantastic.
And I really appreciate the team, you know.
That's brilliant. I hope they're watching, and I hope they heard that. Thank you very much, Barbara. And I'm very excited to learn as well that we'll see more of Marina's artwork coming forward from yourselves. Take care. Have a great evening, Barbara.
Lots of love to you, and thank you very much, Fiona.
Bye, darling. Bye-bye. Right, OK. Well, we've got some videos, of course, from Paul and Barbara. So this is actually the one-day special. It is the 6 stamps from the Marina Fedotova artwork. These beautiful individual stamps that are named Prue and Pearl and Pud and Pumpkin and Paloma and Presh, and exquisitely drawn. They tell a story, absolutely beautiful. £37.49 just for that amazing 6 collection bundle there, 812509. But let's hear more from the lady herself and see these beautiful stamps being put into action.
Thank you for joining us. Now, a little while ago, I designed a set of 4 seasonal entwined frames to go with the floral alphabet that I drew a while ago as well. And I knew that they would work really, really beautifully with these Marina Fedotova stamps. So when I saw Linda Spencer's piece of artwork that came through the door, I thought, yeah, great minds think alike. So you can see here, Linda's taken that gorgeous little Paloma. She's coloured her in beautifully, ironically almost the same as me, and then she's also taken the winter stamp, which is the square one. And then I thought, right, well, let me stamp up the others so that you can see how they work together. So here's Pearl, and I've dropped her into the spring. And then I've taken Presh and I've dropped her into Summer. Summer's interesting because it's oval, it goes that way too, which is pretty cool. Several of the Marina Fedotova stamps, these beautiful poppets, they drop in that way too. And then of course we've got the large gorgeous autumn heart, and they all sit in there just lovely. This is Prue. So I was looking at those. Let's go back to Linda's. And let's compare what Linda's done. So she's taken the winter scene and the entwined frame, and she's dropped a shadow around there. And let's have a look, because one of the things that I like about these entwined frames is that you can also use them, as I have, almost like multi-layering. Do you see how just by clever shading and different colouring you can create lots of different, the illusion of lots of layers in one layer. So, and while we're on the subject, what I did want to show you, let me just put a piece of paper behind you so you can see this better. You'll notice that I've mounted the work using a corner punch. Now we've got a set of 4 corner punches available. I really think that these are worth getting out of the cupboard, because also for partners, they're invaluable. Partners are always asking us, how do you mount your work? And I just thought this would make a really nice way, just top left and bottom right. What a nice way to mount a piece of artwork. So if you have a look at the different, corners, you'll see they all look different. That's why they're different. See, so if I pop that in there like so, it's quite ornate, that one. That looks nice. So that's one of the 4. Then this one is more scalloped. So you'll see this is more, that's beautiful. Then the one that I've used is the straight one, like that. That looks great. And unfortunately, I cannot find the 4th one. I know we've got it in the set, but it's like the straight one, except it's curved. And that looks really nice too. So you've got 4 different punches, and it's just the easiest way to mount up work. How do they work? Well, piece of cake actually. Let me show you. If you're new to these corner punches, let me just show you how I use them. If I see there's a right angle to put your card in. I start with one corner and I put it in there, and then I press. And then all I've got to do now, it doesn't matter which one I choose to mount. Let's take Presh, right? So now I can take any size, it doesn't matter. It could be one of the little rinky-dink ones. It could be any size card you want. It could be rectangular, it could be square, it could be what you want it to be. Well, all I'm going to do now is take the artwork that I want to actually mount using them, and now I'm going to take a look at the gap, see? And then I'm just going to put it in place like so, so I know where it's going to sit. And then I'll turn it around. How many? I've got so much of this plain card that is just nice when you don't want to use too much. You know, you don't want to waste too much card. And we've got loads of this stuff. And sometimes you don't want it to be so busy, do you? That's what I'm trying to say. So just plain looks good. Now have a look at the ruler. I'm using a Pergamano ruler, and on the back I've got what we call a groovy grip, which comes in sheets of A4. It's not sticky, it just clings to the ruler. And what's good about that is, you see, the ruler moves until I press on it, and now the groovy grip stops me sliding around, which is excellent when I'm using it like for something like now. So what I'm going to do is eyeball, I've got a cutting edge, I've got a steel inlay as well. I'm going to use a craft knife. See, and I can see exactly how far away I need to be by looking at this grid. I'm eyeballing it. Of course you can measure it as well. But if I just come in now, and I'm putting this purple line exactly where I know it's going to sit right, and then I'm going to press, and as soon as I press, it doesn't go anywhere, you see? So I'll take that, that's good for another job. And then I'm going to turn this round, And I'm going to do exactly the same thing on this side as well. So we'll do all 4 sides. And now I know that this is going to sit within the punches. So hang on, health and safety, and put the lid on. Right, then I'll take my artwork away. Then I'm going to take my punch, same one again, top left, bottom right, for example. It nests into that right angle, and there it is. And then when it gets full up, all you have to do is take that out and then empty it. And then you go again, you're good to go. It takes ages before it gets full, but just so you know, that's how that works. And then you've got your mounted piece, and this will sit in here absolutely beautifully. So you pop that in there, pop that in there. Oh, hang on, like so. And it sits in there just right. There we are. And now it's ready to be mounted on white or whatever you fancy. But the thing about the punches is that you can customise your layering. You can do that with our designer paper too, and you can use ornate punches too if you get the 4. Okay, so moving on, let's take a look then at this particular piece of artwork, because what I wanted to do was just show you a couple of finishing tricks. If we take one that I've already stamped up and already started working on, just for the sake of speed, let's have a look here. Let me just say though, so that you know which order to go in, I certainly put this one down first and then I stamped Paloma in afterwards. Now, let's take, this is a couple of colouring tricks. Let's take a red pencil. So I could take my pergoliners or I can take my polychromos, whichever I fancy. I'm going to be using polychromos around the edge because I need those lovely greys, so I might as well just stick to the plan. So let's try a trick. If you have a look at my artwork, let's have a look at the scarf, and you'll see that it looks knitted. Do you see? It looks more knitted. And what we're going to do to get that effect, let me just show you. You're going to take your pencil, quite a sharpened pencil, not a blunt one, and then you're going to make lines. Let me come in so you can see it, and we're going to make lines in this direction, like so. Every other one. I wish I could find here's my sharpener. That'd be better. Be easier if you can see it. Let's sharpen it a bit. Right, so we're going to just make lines in that direction. Right, let's go across this way as well, so you can see it. Every other section, like so. Right, that works. Let me just take that out of the way so you can see it better. Right, and then what we're going to do is go in the opposite direction now to the lines to make shadows. So I think there's going to be a shadow here. So now I'm going to go, but not all the way across. I'm just going to go a little bit. See? So now, if that's going that way, now I want to go this way. See, whichever way I decide to go, whether I go that way with the lines or that way, but what I've got to do is make sure that I go in the opposite direction when I'm making the knitted effect. See? So you can see how you can get your knit really nicely, and then just add. So rather than colouring, you're hatching is what it's called. Right. So we're going to hatch. And just to recap so that you can see it really clearly, right? You're going to go, let's have a look, let me think. Right, I'm going to go this way with the lines on the scarf, and then I'm going to turn it round, and if the shadow's here, then I'm going to come that way with the shadow. So it's almost checkered, you see? And that's how you get that lovely effect. When we turn it round like so, you'll see it looks knitted. And I've done exactly the same in the hat as well. So when you look at the hat, you can see. You just go in opposite directions, but it gives it just lovely texture. Now have a look at the shadows down here, and you'll see that I've done a similar thing. I've feathered out with the pencils. So, and that's exactly what we're going to do now. If we take the colour grey, warm grey, I need a couple of different greys. This is where all your different greys come into play. All your greys come into play. Let's have a look. So we'll start with the lightest one, and then we'll decide where we want to add. So I've already started, and I'm using just the light grey just to add, not that one, let's have a think. I'll go into this one here. Right, so we're just going to add different layers in different places to get this background. The girl is easy to colour in, and if you go back to the earlier show, the 6 o'clock show, I showed you how to make her skirt look white against white. It's quite straightforward. All you actually do is put grey in the background. We could probably do that so quickly in a minute, but I was more interested in showing you how to do these layers. I think it's good to see that, isn't it? So let me just sharpen my pencil. Right, and then what we're going to do, you see, is take a darker grey. Let's take that dark grey now, and then what I'll do is I'll show you on this side here so you can see it. Let's look from above so you can see it better what I'm doing. See, so I've got my base colour down, and then what I'm going to do is it's like exactly the same as what I did in the scarf, which is why I wanted to show you that. And I'm just nuzzling into the edge and then flicking out like that. And you just flick out from the inside, so you get onto the side and then you flick. Quite a sharp pencil. See? Let's see if we can see it better on this camera. Right, so in we go. It's not very sharp. I need a little bit more of a nib. Let me just gently just sharpen that pencil a little bit. Slowly does it. That's better. Right, here we go. So by turning the pencil, you see, I can make it sharper. Right, and then once I've done that on that side, then what I'm going to do is come in here with the sharper edge, and I can then just add the shadow like so. So I'm going to come in here and start adding depth, you see? So it's this edge here now that's going to create a layer. So I just have to decide what layer sits on where. So if that comes in there like so, and then I can get in real tight, I can make this as dark as I like, but you'll see by adding drop shadows like this, see how it makes it look really dimensional, doesn't it? Right, and the darker you get towards the line there, the more it jumps. And if we take a grey, this is quite a dark grey, but you'll get the picture. I would be tempted normally, I've got a lighter grey here. Let me just show you this, for example, what I was saying about bringing the dress out. Do you see how you can make the dress, even though it's white, it stands out, doesn't it? Here it's as flat as a tack. And the way to do that is to, again, it's all about the shadows underneath here. So you're going to come round. Don't worry about going over an image. That's fine. We've got to bring out, see, this is her bottom here. So there's a gap here. So if we're going to bring that white skirt out, and then we've got to go darker around the outside of the white skirt. Do you see? This is how you do it. Just like this. But go back to the earlier show, and I did that in the earlier show. But you can see even around the wings, look. See how you just come in like so, around the wings. And it's all about the shading. That's how you bring the images out. Like so, look. And then when you go into the pleats themselves, you can get really dark. There we are. And then the closer you get on the edge, the darker it will get. Now coming down to this area here, for example, let me just show you. If I quickly, oh no, yellow I want. So let me put a yellow in this area here. So I'll drop a yellow in there, and I'll drop a yellow in here. I've got a yellow in there. Right, and then I'll take my light grey. So base colour first. Then I'm going to take my light grey, and I'm going to come across here, because this is where I want the layer to, it needs to pop. So it needs to look. And then I'm going to come along here as well. See, and so what you're doing is you're creating the illusion of depth. And you go with a lighter grey, and then when you go in with a darker grey, closer to the actual line art, it will start to really pop. Do you see? And then you just tease this out into the yellow with the lighter grey again. And it will really look as if it's sitting on top. Take that dark one. And you watch this edge now. If I come in here with a dark grey, you can get bold as you like. And that is it actually. That's exactly how, that's all I need to show you. It's just building up those drop shadows underneath the lines. There you go. And that's exactly how I arrived at that, with the lines like in the scarf. Yeah. And then the only other thing is, of course, the jumper, as bright and dark as you like. And the way to get the jumper as dark as that is to just go in as heavy, few layers, and then as heavy as you like. And that will give you that really opaque, beautiful, deep red jumper. Right, lovely, isn't it? And then if you want to, I know I'm titivating now, you just start adding depth through here. But doesn't that look sharp? There you go. And that's how it works. These are fantastic for, if you like colouring, you'll love these stamps.
Fantastic stamps there. Thank you, Barbara. Yes, so the Monday special is the collection of the 6 stamps there by Marina Fedotova. The 6 beautiful, beautiful fairies there. You've got your Presh, you've got your Paloma, you've got your Pud, you've got your Pumpkin, you've got your Pearl, and you've got your Prue. Beautiful, exquisitely drawn, fantastic fine lines there, beautiful to colour in. And the team have done such a fantastic job in terms of the beautiful cards that they've put together for us here on the show. They really are absolutely idyllic. They can look very vintage-like as well, as Barbara was explaining, just by changing up the look there. Yeah, isn't that fantastic? So beautiful. I do love these as well. I like almost like little menu cards. Okay, £37.49, 812509. Half the stock of the one-day special, approaching half the stock of the one-day special, has gone. I want to move on to the complete collection now, because it includes the mini versions of these stamps, which I know you are loving. So as you can see, these are the stamps that are now only available in the complete collection. I mean, these really are absolutely beautiful. And look at this one by Jane. Isn't that gorgeous? And then you've got the fantastic sentiments written by Barbara beside it in that lovely, lovely script. Isn't that gorgeous? She's got gorgeous writing. Absolutely. I wish my writing was that neat. Stunning. But all the sentiments there. So that includes, obviously, the 6 main ones, your minis now that you can only get in the complete collection. Obviously, the sentiments as well. Now, all of those together creates an even bigger saving, because you get the saving on each of the individual bundles, which is £7.50 on the one-day special, £5 for the minis, and £5 on the sentiments, because you can get those individually. Not the minis, because they're now only available in the complete. But then you've got an additional £7.50 on the complete collection, which brings it to a grand total of £25, and an even bigger saving if you're a Freedom Club member of £31. So £59.98, or Freedom Club members £53.98. And over 70% of the complete collection has gone, 993830, and we can split that into flexi-buy payments for you as well. And don't forget, you'll get your £5 credit as well if you buy anything in our Christmas event, provided you spend over £30 the next day using that £5 credit. I want to move on to that fantastic, the boards that Barbara mentioned for stamping on with your black Archiva ink. We've got the hearts, we've got the rounds, we've got the triangles, which I love Barbara's idea about the bunting, and the squares. Now, as you can see, stamped onto those, this stamp board shapes are just amazing, and you're getting 60 in total. So just a fantastic array there of sizes. I love the idea of the bubbles. 60% of the stock is gone. You can see the thickness. There's such amazing quality and beautiful and smooth. And just look at that. There's such sturdiness to them. But you're going to have some great fun with those. £12,971,682, brand new today. I want to move on to those lovely frames. Weren't they amazing that Barbara was using? You might have seen them before, but I haven't. Now, everyone is a different season, but then we've also got the sentiments. Now, you've got obviously summer, spring, autumn, winter, and within it you've got corresponding flowers and ferns and fronds and leaves and what have you. These really are beautiful. £59.95, 49 stamps in total. They're called the Entwined Wreath Sentiment Stamp Collection, 218864, and you just saw them in action there with Barbara. I was really quite taken aback by those. I thought they were exquisite, so different from framing stamps I've seen before. I just thought they suited the Marina beautiful stamp collection exquisitely, and then you've got your sentiments as well, so a great investment there, 218864. Shall I mention me punches? Can I? Because I want to say thank you to Molly. Zoe, Matt, your daughter did this very quickly because I saw you all coming in for those stamps, those punches that Barbara used. So what she did is she just put the corner in, and how good was that when she framed it and then pressed down, and you get 4 different. There's as you can see on the corners of my Molly did this. Can you see the different shapes? So you just punch that in, and then you can just insert the card in. So you've got a lovely ornate wiggle one, the 2 curves. Aren't they pretty? I just thought they were so beautiful. £19.92, 642701 in case you haven't seen those. But I do want to show you the finished sample footage for the Entwined stamp collection as well, because it's well worth a look-see. I love that stamp collection. They are so beautiful. But in the wings, I have another bit of footage, a demonstration by the lovely Paul coming up next.
Hi, thanks for joining me. For this demo, I've taken my inspiration from a card that's been created by the lovely Dee Paramore. And she's combined it with our lovely deluxe window nested arch dies together with the toffee apple designer papers. And you've got a real sort of vintage look to this particular design. But let me show you some other samples using the same. So if let me just zoom in a little bit. Whoops, I knew I'd go the wrong way. There we go. So if I just zoom in a little bit. So this is the one where we're going to head towards. And then we've got another card created by Dee. And this one is using Pud. And Pud is the character that I'm going to go with. This one here is Paloma. But again, when you look, absolutely gorgeous, and especially when you're using the designer papers in the background. Then this is using Pud in the little miniature set. So again, let me bring that up. Isn't that gorgeous? Just on the beautiful craft card, it really brings that white out using sort of like the white pencils. Then we have another sample here from the lovely Elaine Milner. Again, using the same character stamp. I mean, look at that, absolutely gorgeous. I don't know if you can see, you've got a little bit of bling just on there with the perga glitters. And then the final one I'm going to show you is the one from Dunn. Again, using the same character, but in miniature as well. I mean, look how gorgeous she is. And the beautiful little bunny rabbit. And this one's got some perga glitter on there as well. So let me pop those to one side, and then what we're going to do, we're going to come back and we're going to break this down into sections. So to start off with, we're going to concentrate on the centerpiece first. And as I say, Dee has used Paloma, but I'm going to go with Pud, one of the other characters, because you've got 6 different characters in the collection. So you've got choices. You can either stamp out onto a piece of card first. So I've stamped this onto the other card, or you can die cut your arch and stamp directly onto there. So for the dies, this is a set of dies that I've used, the Peace and Love nested windows, which we have on the show. So you've got a beautiful centerpiece there, and then you've got the various different nested arch windows. So I'm going to stamp directly onto this one here. And to do that, I'm going to, I've already got my stamp mounted on one of our little 4x4 mega mounts. Then I'm going to ink up my stamp, and I've gone with a black archival. To colour in, I'm going to go with the pencils, the pergaliner pencils. So I'm just going to ink it up, make sure I've got plenty of ink on there. Okay, and then I can position this exactly where I want it to go. And because the stamps are see-through, it gives me that perfect positioning on where I want to stamp my design. So we'll just apply the pressure in the middle. Okay, make sure transferred all the ink, and then we lift that off and we've got that beautiful crisp line art. Look at that, absolutely gorgeous. And there's so much detail on these stamps, there really is. So this is where we're going to start off with. And what I'm going to do, I've brought in, when I'm colouring in, if I'm using pencils, let me just sort of zoom in a little bit more so we can really concentrate on that area there. There we go. So what I tend to do is I just stamp it out on copy paper, and then I practice with my colours. So these were my practice sheets, and I was trying out the different characters, and you can see I scribble the pencils on there to see whether they're going to work together, have a play around to see how I'm going to get the shading in the hair, and then this is a set of the little mini ones where I was trying different combinations. So these will be showcased in some of the other hours throughout the one-day special. So what I'm going to do, I've taken a selection of my Pergolina B pencils, and I always make a note of which ones I've used when I colour in. Okay, I'll just put it on a sticky note so that if I need to replicate it like I am now, then I know exactly what colours that I've used. Now, working with the B pencils, these are a wax-based pencil, and I find that they work perfectly. Really, they go on smoothly on the other card, which is like a smooth card. And then all I'm going to do, I'm just going to concentrate on, say, I'm not going to colour it all in because obviously that would be boring, it would take forever to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to concentrate on the skirt or area of the design. So for that I've used a light green and a dark green. So let me see if I can come in just a little bit more closely. There we go, we'll just bring that right in. Nice and close. And then depending on where I want my light to be, so on my one I want the light towards the bottom, so what I'm going to do is put a base coat down of the light green first. And this is very, I mean, I've learnt my colouring in from watching Barbara, and also picking up the techniques from working with parchment as well. So all I'm going to do is start at the base of the jacket, and with the light colour I'm just going to do very light, gentle flicks. So this is sort of like as if you're doing white work on parchment. So there's not a lot of pressure going on, and all I'm doing, I'm just starting in the same place at the base of the jacket, because that's where it's going to be more intense in colour to give me my depth. Okay, so I've just put a very, very light coat down of the B7, which is the light green. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my B6, which is the darker green, and then just repeat the process, but I'm not going to go down as far with my flicking. And again, I'm not putting any pressure on. All I'm doing is sort of light feathery strokes, and then you just flick from the same place. And what that does, by putting the base coat down first, it changes the colour or the tone of the colour that's going on top. Okay, and then what I'm going to do, I'm just going to turn it around, because I find that I like to flick away from myself. Okay, and then all I'm going to do is just flick up slightly from the bottom, just so that I can take away that sort of whiteness towards the bottom. And then I'm going to turn it back round again. Okay, now I mean, I'm no expert, I find this is what works for me, and by watching Barbara on the Shack Live on Facebook Live every Monday to Friday at 10 o'clock, I've learned so much just by watching from the doodling sessions and the application of colour. So you can see now what I'm doing is just gradually just building up that depth of colour. Now if I go on harder, then I'll get a deeper colourway. So what I'm going to do now is just put a little bit more pressure as I start that process, and by doing the little, like the feathery strokes, I find I get a better colour application rather than sort of going in and sort of colouring in solidly. I find that this works for me really, really well. Okay, so I've done this process, and I can come down a bit further if I think that I need to sort of get rid of some of that lighter area as well. So now when we turn that round and we look at it the right way up, you can see now how I've started to build up and get that depth of colour. So as I said, I'm not going to colour it all in because that would be boring for you to watch me do that. So here's one that I've coloured in completely. Isn't she gorgeous? And it's the same principle. You can see exactly how I've built up that colour on her skirt on there. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to zoom out, or zoom in, zoom out, so we can get the bigger picture. Okay, so that's how I've created my topper. And I was playing around with one of the other characters as well, and look, I've coloured her in along the same way as well. Absolutely, I just love these characters. They're just absolutely good and perfect for practicing as well. As I say, just stamp it out on a piece of copy paper first and just see if the colours work. I mean, that was just a dark green just on its own, and I thought it was a little bit too dark, but by putting the lighter green underneath, then you get that tone on tone type of colour. So what we're going to do now is what am I going to do now? I reckon what we'll do is we'll tone this down. When we look at what Dee's done, it's got a very sort of aged colourway to go with it. So to do that, I'm going to bring in my blending mat, which we also have on the show. So let me zoom out now. There we go. So I've got my Clarity blending mat, and then I've used the old parchment from the Artistry ink pads, and I'm just going to put some onto my mat there. I'm going to load up my brush, so it's a real good way of sort of picking up the ink, especially if you've gone for the smaller ones. And then all I'm going to do is just brush in on those edges just to tone down and give a little bit of depth and take away some of that whiteness. Okay, so I can load up the brush again, and as you'll notice, what I'm doing is I'm turning my work. I'm keeping the brush in the same position, but I'm turning my brush, my work, so that I just find I get a better flow of colour going all the way around. And you can see now it's starting to take the whiteness away. So pick up some more ink and then just go in. And because I'm going in each time from the blending mat, I'm not getting any sort of brush marks. Let's put a little bit more ink on there. Squish that out. Load up the brush. And then I'm starting, say, over here, so by the time it reaches the card, I'm not getting the marks. And what it also does is it really picks up the embossed line art from the die. So that's just toned down. So if I pop the one that hasn't got any colour, hopefully you can see that there's a real sort of difference between the bright white and, let me hold that up, you might be able to see it a bit clear. If I hold that up, hopefully you can see the difference of where I've just toned it down using the old parchment, and then obviously the bright white there. So that's given me my little topper. So we're going to pop that to one side, And then what I've done is I've used the nested dies that we've got on the show to sort of die cut a frame, exactly like what Dee's done. And then I've stuck it onto a piece of the toffee apple backing paper. But when I pop that in there, you can see obviously that's white as well. So all I need to do is just tone down the outer frame as well. Now I found it was easier to stick it onto the backing paper first because it gave me more stability rather than having a flimsy sort of bit of frame. And because I'm using this green, I can go in both directions and it's not going to affect the paper, but all it's doing is just toning down that whiteness. Quick and easy to do. Let's pop a little bit more ink on there. And in these sets of mini inks, you've got a real selection of colours. So just load up the brush, and then I'm just going backwards and forwards just to tone down the whiteness. Okay, so we're gonna just almost there. Maybe I should have done this bit before, but you know what? It doesn't matter. It's good to explain and show what we're doing. Okay, so that's sort of taken off that white edge there. So let's pop that to one side. So now that, whoops, wrong one, where's it gone? There she is. That's going to sit just in there. So that on its own makes a really nice card. But then what I've done, I've taken another piece of the toffee apple paper and I've just stamped it. I haven't stamped it. I've just attached it to a card blank. And then what we're going to do, before I assemble it, it needs some words. So we've got Barbara's Christmas words. So I'm going to go with, let's have a look. Wishing you a, so we're going to go with that one up there. Wishing you a, and then we've got Merry Christmas or we've got Happy Christmas. So I reckon Happy Christmas will just fit on there. So I'm going to use my word chain mounts. I'm going to pick up my stamp. I'm going to ink up. So I'm going to pop that just about there. So, okay, that's going to go just on there, lovely. And then we'll swap out and we'll go to Happy Christmas. We're going to ink up the stamp there. And we're going to pop that one just about, let's come over a little bit, just about there. Lovely. I mean, this is Barbara's handwriting and it's absolutely gorgeous. And I think it works fantastically with these designs. There we go. Wishing you a happy Christmas. And then the final part is we'll just take a tape runner and pop that onto there. Position that in place. We'll put some tape just on the back, and then that goes onto there. So that's in place. So that's my finished piece, and this is the one where I copied from Dee and took my inspiration and just changed the characters. So I hope you've enjoyed that, and I'll see you again soon.
Thank you, Paul. And here's that very card with the Marina Fedotova fantastic stamp collection there, the 6th there. Here it is. Isn't that beautiful? I love the expression on the bunny's face. So it's just such enthusiasm. But look how different it can be. You know, the same stamp, but again, completely different. And it's the fine art drawing, the fine lines, The precision are just beautiful. So this is some of the team there. That's with Presh. This is Julie's there. Isn't that fantastic? Really, really gorgeous. I think they're just exquisite. This one, there we go. There's another one there. This is Elaine's. And then we've got Linda's there. They're so beautiful, aren't they? So this is for all 6 of the stamps, £37.49, 812509, and you're saving £7.50. I'm afraid the little stamps aren't available now on their own, which is the poppets. As you can see, all the larger ones, which are the smaller stamp set. Now, I want to show you as well in a moment the quality of the stamps, because they're quite incredible. But you can get the littler stamps in the complete collection, yeah? So they really are well worth getting. I mean, some of these cars are just so beautiful. Sheila, for instance, look at these. When you use them together, Sam, aren't they fantastic? Just amazing. Really, really, and I love that one. This is very similar to the one Barbara did. That's Elaine's there as well, and gorgeous, aren't they? Beautiful. So if you want to go for the full collection, that is obviously the mini poppets, the large poppets, and the lovely font scripts that Barbara has done. You're getting another save, because you can get the script on their own and save, is it £7.50 or £5? £5. Unfortunately, they sold out on their own. You would have saved £7.50. So let's bundle all of that. £5.50, so £5 on that, £7.50 on these. Let's bundle that together. So if you're not a Freedom member, you're saving £25 on the complete collection. If you are a Freedom Club member, you're saving £31. That brings it down to £53.98 to get the whole collection. That's the only way now we can get those fantastic poppets, and over 70% have now gone. We can put the Freedom on the Flexi as well for 2 Flexi buy payments of £26.99. You'll get your £5 voucher as well, so you can buy anything in our 5 days of Christmas deal, and then you can spend £5. You get a £5 credit to spend tomorrow on a purchase of £30 or more. So yeah, fantastic. But do you remember I said to you the quality of these stamps? And I do want to show you these because they're so deep set. But when you look at the fineness of, let me just get one of the black and white drawings. I'm not sure who I've got here there. Let me just show you Prue. And look at that fine detail within the basket, within the holly, the feathery aspect of her cap and the snowball on the end of her cap. And I just want to, they really are, they've got some heft, I was saying. They're so deep, they're so robust. But this is so raised. I don't know if you can see that at home, that you get that lovely, fantastic detail. And that's what Barbara's saying about not wanting to do them in the actual, the normal way in which the Pergamano works, but to actually create the stamps instead. So they're just stunning and beautiful, beautiful drawings. I'm sure you agree. Now the actual update of the complete collection is that 3/4 of the stock has gone. Will it be here tomorrow? I am not sure, as much as I want to see Barbara again and what other fantastic samples she's got for us. They may or may not be with us. This is pretty. I know Paola showed this earlier, but the little box, and then inside you've got all of them, of the minis in there as well. Yeah. Now, a favourite of mine, lovely Molly, Matt and Zoe, hope you're watching, because she did this for me, my punches. I'm just going to lean over here. You can get these 4, I don't know if you saw it on Barbara's earlier demonstration, these 4 punches, and you slip your card in there, and then you punch, just press down, and you can see that the motif of the top there, and this is how Barbara mounted her card on the card, and that's the pretty images each of those 4 punches you get for £19.99. £19.92, sorry, 642701. They're just gorgeous. Don't forget those lovely seasoned frames. They are stunning, absolutely stunning, and used a lot in conjunction with the stamps as well. But here is the 1-day special. Absolutely fantastic, £37.49, 812509. But don't forget 3/4 of the stock of the whole collection has gone now. It's well worth getting because that's a massive saving, isn't it? And yeah, and then you'll have that £5 credit to spend on anything over £30, or if that first payment in your basket is £30 or more. All right, plenty more still to see. We've got to spin the deal wheel tonight.